get food delivered at the bar.
Oh, very cool.
And like, because they could choose whatever they want, I was like, mereko ye chahiye, mereko wo chahiye, mereko wo chahiye. Like, forget all of that.
Right.
You order whatever you want. I'll provide basic service and I'll give you the drinks.
So I love it. Zomato was in your bar before you actually started serving food.
Yeah.
Oh, you made your own guitar also?
So. Yeah, because my parents is like, itna percentage lao to milega and all of that. I was like, itna mehnat nahi karna guitar ke liye, I'll just make it. So,
yeah, तेरे को मतलब Porsche या Ferrari वगैरह का शौक नहीं है क्योंकि keeping in this बना दे एक मैं भी खरीद लूँगा यार एक मतलब
नहीं गाड़ियों का शौक
नहीं है. Your restaurant and your bar, last orders are at 10:30.
Yes.
And then you hang with your friends. Then you get back.
No, it's a hard stop at 11.
It's a hard stop. Hard stop 11. Wonderful. And then when you get back home,
yes.
What is it that like your body craves for? I'm assuming you don't eat when you're cooking and stuff. So like, what do you like to eat?
I'm sure you want to start with this.
Yes.
So I eat once a day anyway.
Okay.
So I have a lunch at around 5:30 or so, and me and my dog, we eat together. And I prefer simple things. So chicken and roti.
Okay.
But dry chicken and roti, like that's my go-to thing. And morning, Django and I, my dog and I, we have a breakfast smoothie, which is fruits and yogurt with peanut butter. So
your dog and you have smoothies with fruits and peanut butter and
yogurt.
Wonderful. How's that working out? Because his like fur and all really sleek.
No, he's become a yoga chick now, so he demands a little more attention. But otherwise, yes.
Share a little bit of your story, because as far as I know, you are an architect by profession, but you now run a bar, the FTR Vinyl Bar it's called, in Panjim, and you're famous for your fermented food and your Indian craft cocktails, and the fact that it's a vinyl-only bar, so you play only record music.
Yeah.
So how did this whole journey start, from being an architect to all this?
So it started with me opening a record store first, because as a musician, I would never want to listen to music just to enjoy music. It had become like, bahut sun liya maine.
Okay.
So it had become torturous for me to just like sit and listen to music and do nothing.
Okay.
And one day I realized that this is problematic, me as a musician. If I don't enjoy listening to music, it's like something is wrong. So, and I realized what the reason was, because I play live, because I play with musicians, recorded music could never reach that level of enjoyment for me. वो तो कभी नहीं हुआ. And once I heard music on the records, and I was like, okay, this is nice because I can visualize people, I can understand what the musician's trying to do on the instrument, and I got really fascinated with it, and that's why I thought कि ये तो सबको सुनना चाहिए. So I opened up a record store, and that was the beginning of this.
Okay.
And then I started making systems. So I was like, I can't afford really good systems. So they go up to like crores. मेरे पास तो उतना पैसा नहीं है.
Okay.
So I started learning analog electronics and I designed my own system. And then I would invite friends. आप आइए सुनिए.
Right.
And everyone hated Feni. Like all my friends.
Yeah, like most of the world seems to hate Feni till they really discover it. Like
yeah. So it can put you off initially because it has a very strong personality.
Correct.
That drink.
Correct.
So, but I used to like mix up drinks for them to try out and convince them that Feni is great. And this used to be like my regular affair. Run the store the whole day, evening call friends, come listen to a few records, I'll make some drinks, and let's sit and chill and enjoy music. And then this became so regular that I was like, okay, ये तो बहुत हो रहा है. Might as well open up a bar.
So far you were not selling these drinks and stuff?
Nothing. So when the bar started, I started with like 3 or 4 Feni cocktails. That's it.
That was it. Okay.
So I went to Japan. I mean, I love Japan. And I visited all the vinyl bars there. And I realized they all had this very strong governing theme. You will only serve local alcohol. And it's nice, they respect the bartender or the owner's choice in everything, in music, in drinks, and so it's like you are entering their space. You're entering their living room or their comfort zone, and you don't have much say in it. Like either you like it or you don't.
Right.
And if you like it, you stay there, you be a part of their life for that one evening, and then you walk away. They don't need to interact with you, they don't need to do anything. You are there, I have an opportunity to explore good music, have a drink, good ambiance, and then you walk away. You don't expect people touching your feet for service. You don't expect the bartender to like interact with you, make you feel good about yourself. No bullshit like that. You come, you do your business, and you go. And I enjoyed it because I was left to myself in those bars. And sometimes when I would request and the bartender would listen to me, I would get to listen to like all of my favorite music, and I enjoyed it so much. Like I sat and just listened to music and had drinks, and I figured कि ये भी करना चाहिए.
I keep hearing music drinks. Even in these Tokyo bars and all, was there any food? Like, do they have like local food? Or?
I don't eat that much, so I never.
But did you notice? You didn't even notice. No. Okay. Anyway, so now cut to 2018, 2019. You've opened your bar. There are drinks and all. Where did the food come about? The breads.
So I started with Okay, I'm going to be very politically correct.
Yes.
I started as a Zomato bar.
You started as a Zomato
As in,
bar.
I would allow people to get food delivered at the bar.
Oh, very cool.
And like, because they could choose whatever they want, I was like, मेरे को ये चाहिए, मेरे को वो चाहिए, मेरे को वो चाहिए. Like, forget all of that.
Right.
You order whatever you want. I'll provide basic service and I'll give you the drinks.
So I love it. Zomato was in your bar before you actually started serving food.
Yeah.
And then how long did that outsourcing last and stuff? Because now you and your team do all the food.
Yes.
For the
So
record.
first I outsourced it to one team. And then I went with another team.
Okay.
And then eventually I said, okay, the way I am, like the person that I am, like it'll be very difficult for me to be pleased with anyone else. No. वो नहीं होने वाला है.
I see a recurring theme here.
Yeah.
Music बजाना है.
नहीं
अपने आप बजा लेता हूँ. Guitar खरीद के I'll play my own music. Music सुनना है. I don't want to go to someone else's thing. I'll listen to my music.
No, guitar भी मैं पहले खुद का बनाया था.
अच्छा. Oh, you made your own guitar also. So.
Yeah, because my parents is like इतना percentage लाओ तो मिलेगा and all of that.
हाँ.
It's like इतना मेहनत नहीं करना गिटार के लिए. I'll just make it. So
यार तेरे को मतलब पोर्शे या फिरारी वगैरह का शौक नहीं है क्योंकि कीपिंग इन दिस बना दे एक मैं भी खरीद लूंगा यार एक मतलब
नहीं गाड़ियों का शौक
नहीं है. I think रखना चाहिए. So then you decided to okay I see the emergence of a pattern like you. Is it safe to say like you enjoy something and then the stuff that people are doing in that space doesn't live up to your standards and you're like हट जाओ मैं खुद ही कर लेता हूँ.
My standards are not relevant right now, but it would just be like I'll expect some things from it. Whether they're good or bad is secondary.
Okay.
But if it doesn't, for example, my expectation from the food part was not really, okay, it has to be edible food or good food or well-plated food.
Well, edible food I think is a good way to start. You cannot serve people food that is not edible.
Many people do it, so it's fine.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So my expectation was कि उसमें कीड़ा क्या है? Like, what did you learn or what did you experiment with? Or what new avenue did you explore in churning this dish out? And when that doesn't happen, it irritates me. So that was the main concern. It wasn't कि खाना अच्छा बुरा or carbs or protein or vegan. I mean, none of my concerns.
So I keep trying to bring like sort of themes in here. So it's like I hear play, like you like to play with things, you're interested in what play, and then you like to perfect it. As close as possible, because you're an architect by profession. We didn't really get into that. You went into music. You're self-taught as a musician. You never took any classes. You then became a mixologist and Fenny cocktails and just by the way, like now, how many approximately, or off the top of your head, how many cocktails do you have in your menu?
I think 20-25, but we keep changing every 3-4 months.
And all of those come from your head. You like just like to see how things balance. And your base spirits will always be Indian craft spirits, you said. So, any vodkas in there? Because
now,
yes.
Only recently. So Indian craft market has developed drastically since the
But you started with the Fenny and then you also did Mahua because in Goa
we have agave, Mahua and orange liqueur. And we had Fenny. So that was my only.
So you started with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Eventually the gin boom happened and now we have rums and vodkas and everything.
And what? Whiskeys too?
Whiskeys. No. Yeah, whiskeys were always there. So whiskey.
The sweet is full. And in the midst of all this, because I remember there was like sourdough bread also happening in the midst of all this. How did that happen? Like, again, you just taught yourself, you took a class.
I loved the idea that bread and beer were these key moments in mankind's development. You know?
Yeah, I agree.
And beer, of course, I was consuming beer.
Right.
But bread, so this friend of mine, Sujit, used to make beautiful breads. And I always thought that, this is a skill that I need to learn. And just when I was about braving myself to like start learning this bread making thing, the lockdown hit. And like all the workshops got canned and everything. This was the first lockdown.
Okay.
He wasn't doing online
Got
courses. Yeah. So, I mean, then online thing happened, but by that time, like, and I used to bounce off ideas with him because I love playing with the composition of the flour. So we got like a database of all Indian grains from the Wheat and Barley Research Institute.
Right.
Figure out each grain ka kya ups and downs hai, and then connected with farmers, like, please send me grain samples. So my place was like a wheat lab for the longest time. I had grains from all over, and I'm milling. I bought a small stone mill, started milling, mixing them in different proportions, and till now I still didn't know how to make a good bread.
So we're now still in the play part now.
We're in the play.
Yeah. We haven't got to perfection yet.
तो अभी मेरे को तो bread बनाना इतना आता नहीं था. So I used to take flour and take it to Sujit. Like आप bread बनाओ.
हाँ, आटा मैंने बना दिया.
आटा बना दिया, आप bread बनाओ.
पुराने ज़माने में होता था वो. You know, in
yeah, like the swords.
Yeah,
like
Persia, Pakistan, and all. There used to be a communal tandoor. And everybody from the village, घर में सारा खाना बनता था, but then they would all actually come and they would bring the atta and all, and the communal tandoor used to be there.
Even bread ovens like used to be communal.
So Guruji was like your communal tandoor.
So he would tell me कि अच्छा इसमें rise नहीं हो रहा है, इसमें ये नहीं हो रहा है.
Got it.
इसमें strength नहीं है. So I'll go back to the board and I'll like, okay, rearrange all of these things. And meanwhile, of course, I was also making breads at home to do the first cuts. And then eventually interacting with him, he would be very kind and like show me like how he makes breads and everything. So my bread game also got better interacting with him over a period of time. And that's how the bread making started. And then I was like, we had a lot of time in the pandemic, so I started fermenting and anything under the sun. जो भी बाजार में मिलता था कि कल मिले ना मिले इसको ferment करने रख दो.
Okay.
So I had random ferments and like everything going. So that's
what's the coolest and the weirdest thing you've ever fermented? Just out of
The weirdest was Lotus Stem, because for the life of me, I could not get the sewage smell out of it.
Interesting.
It was very bad.
Okay.
So, I mean, you need to cook it, of course, and this is not cooked.
Right.
It tasted amazing, by the way. I still like clipped my nose and ate a piece of it.
Oh, well done.
But yeah, it just smelled like sewage.
Okay.
So I would never do that again.
And the coolest thing you've ever fermented?
So recently, I think that would be the coolest. So I did a Prawn and Pan Garam.
Prawn and Pan Garam.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like all the ingredients of a pan, like betel leaves, cardamom, ye sab, rose petals, everything, and raw prawns. And they were fermenting for a few months. And it's turned out quite interesting.
And people will just eat this? Like, or you make a paste?
Yeah, it'll be a condiment.
It'll be a condiment.
We'll use it to season something else. I don't know, this just happened day before yesterday. I tried it for the first time. So I don't know as yet.
So listen, I'm like literally seeing it's like a confluence of all the things that like you enjoy. You think like, dost achhe lagte hain, you like sitting with them, so you have a bar.
Yes.
And then it was the music, which is your vinyl records. And then it went into, okay, I'm going to start making Fenny cocktails, and now you do cocktails. Then there was the bread and the thing. And there has been talk of like some of your sauces, hot sauces you do, some of that goes into your cocktails.
Yeah.
I'm really curious. Like, was this a journey where you actually thought of all these things, or it's just like just cheez ka shauq hai, you started collecting it all, and it's just this wonderful space?
Exactly. So I mean, agar like the typical Indian class mentality is that you follow a line that is going to be helpful. I mean, it is out of goodwill that people say that. You follow a line where you are assured कि आपको salary मिलेगा, घर बार होगा, बच्चा होगा.
Right.
And so the decision starts then on. कि अच्छा, so you do engineering, you do this, you do that, you do that. So my first real breakaway was, okay, I'll do architecture. But even otherwise, I figured that this is not going to go on the rest of my life. I do not want to be bogged down by this idea that because I studied architecture, like my rest of my adult life is going to be this. Because, I mean, I believe that life is only once. Like, I do not believe in reincarnations or other religious beliefs. So for me, it was an opportunity to explore anything and everything that interests me. So my space is like a like my life's lab, like FTR right now. So I do not ever want to think, I wish I could have made a guitar, or I wish I could have made a spirit or a cocktail, or I wish I, had been a bread maker. I don't want that regret ever.
You don't want a life of...
and because I lived like that, I used to not be given opportunities to explore my interests. And I hated that. So I figured the minute I get independent, I'm going to explore okay, I can't say. I have to be...
Very cool, very cool. No, because that's interesting. Because most people go down a path, like you said, of thinking that I will start doing this.
Yeah.
And they hope for success. And they say, if I work hard, I fetch up, I'll do this.
Yeah.
And very often, like when you're young, you have all these dreams, all these passions, and then they hit the hard rock of reality and everybody's like, kya kar rahe ho yaar, ghar chalana hai. And then it goes. But you've been very fortunate
and also I have a very frugal lifestyle. Like I don't spend a lot on living.
Right.
So I don't need that much money. So I can survive in all of these things. So I give my time to these things. I give my time is like very well divided. Even if I'm not physically doing it, like I'm mentally thinking of something or the other. And my mental space and my physical time is divided in all of these things. Whether I'm actually doing them right now or I intend to do in the future.
Right.
But this is how like I like to work. I don't like leaving things in the air.
Very cool, very cool. Actually, I mean, I like telling people that nowadays it's one of my favorite things I say, listen, you may not have as much money as like even your neighbor, but you actually have as much time in your life as Steve Jobs did,
anyone else,
as Warren Buffett does, as Bill Gates does.
Yeah.
The difference is opportunity, and then what are you doing to manufacture the time. So now you're doing this. You're sitting in Panjim. All this is like literally, it's, I don't want to call it accident, but it's one thing virtuously leading to another.
Yes.
On the other side, in North Goa, in Anjuna, Asagaon, where it's become really trendy, like, you can't throw a stone without somebody saying, hi, my name is so-and-so, I have a restaurant in Anjuna and Asagaon. Now, all these people have come in.
Yes.
There's some great restaurants, and that dining scene is developed.
Exactly.
Panjim now is actually, after Asagaon, Anjuna, now Panjim is possibly the most popular place. But there, most people are driven by... have to build a brand, have to make sure that we have the numbers, have to do all that. Like, do you have any thoughts on that? Like, so, even for those people, what do you think stands out for you, the ones that do well?
Yeah, so I'm also like slightly maturing in this field in terms of experience.
Right.
Because I'm not an F&B person.
Correct.
And I'm not a hospitality person. You
Correct.
know I'm
clearly.
I'm the least hospitable person.
Clearly.
Like if I like you, you can come to my house. If I don't like you, please do not. Okay. Or I will go and sleep in my room. You guys
right, you can do it. Yeah.
So I'm not in this background. I don't have the urge to please everyone who's in my company.
Right.
I'm not driven by that. And now that I've been running a restaurant for 3.5 years now, I've also learned a few things. So first, like in my particular context, like in things I do, earlier for me, it is very easy to objectively analyze a thing. That's why a lot of people say, "Acha, ye to tune banaya, tu hi taarif kar raha hai." It's like, yeah, I know, because I can objectively figure out whether this thing is good or bad.
Balance hai, flavor hai, does it work?
And now I assumed that everyone is blessed with this objective eye. So growing
How did that work
I
out?
would assume कि नहीं क्या फर्क पड़ता है क्या जगह है, whether you this or that, or whether it is expensive or cheap, or whether it forces you to behave in like a fine dine place or not, but the product should be good and people will appreciate a good product.
Sure.
Which was not a difficult ask. But then I soon realized that the minute you say that taste is subjective, you have to submit yourself that wo subjective sense mein, the objective part of that taste is not the only thing that governs it. The dopamine rush you get when you spend money is a part of the taste.
Correct.
A dish will actually physically taste better
if you spend like 7,500 rupees.
Yes, because your brain is stupid.
Hence what I call the current great truffle scam. Earlier it was avocados. Now it's like you just spray the smell of truffle anywhere and all, and you can like charge 300% more than what you would charge.
Exactly. So earlier I assumed people were stupid. Right. Now I know that the brain is stupid. Like it'll just force you into...
How very politically correct and polite of you, Buland. Okay. You are not stupid, your brain is stupid.
Your brain is stupid.
Got it. Like,
so
excellent.
Because it will physically tell yourself that, man, I'm getting a dopamine rush. I'm having a bite which is worth 1,000 rupees. I'm sitting in a place surrounded by people. All of these become a contributing factor into the dish that you are tasting, whether you like it or not. Unfortunately, that's the sad reality, or just the reality.
Correct.
It doesn't have to be an adjective.
Correct.
Which I'm learning now. So because context matters, of course, and context in which you're appreciating a dish matters. And I'm not saying that I will always make good things, but I have seen. I've experimented with these aspects and I've seen the results, and I know that this is what it is. You take a dish out of a context, like a really good dish from somewhere that you love, and you ask the same chef to make it in another context, you will probably not like it that much. And vice versa. You can take a dish that you do not like, put it in a context that you like, and you will really enjoy it. The same thing goes with drinks. It's easier because alcohol already helps you enjoy things better.
Correct. Alcohol always puts things in context. Yes.
So with drinks, it's always easier because the minute people start enjoying themselves, everything is nice around you. In food, it is very difficult to do so because that dopamine rush doesn't come just from the bite, unless it's like a perfect ratio of sugar, salt, fat, which people love. So coming back to your thing that people are creating these kind of spaces, I believe that maybe they've just gotten down the formula right, that at the end of the day it's really not about the objective idea of the dish. I mean, some people are really doing brilliant work in the F&B industry in Goa, because so many people have come up with such brilliant dishes and cocktails and everything.
Right.
Which is great, but they also have like a hospitable ambience. But I never got into that idea. So for me, it doesn't really matter. So
2 or 3 places in Goa that you think are doing like nice food that you enjoy going and having a meal at.
So I don't
Am I
eat.
putting you on the spot here?
I don't eat, so I'm not a
No, but you said that
person.
there are people doing great stuff.
Yes,
are you
because
saying
I
that
read.
based on what you hear, or
Yeah, because
Zomato reviews, or like what is it? What is it that convinces you that these guys are doing good food?
so if I see that Kida factor, that someone's done something
okay.
interesting, I like that. So I've seen people do great
Sublime.
things. Yes.
Chris Salim is always doing Kida. Bomra does Kida all the time.
Yeah, exactly. There's so many people now, like off the top of my head. And I love the fact that, they're discovering something and they're experimenting with something. They're coming out with new combinations.
That's actually a very interesting thought. Actually, now that I think about it, like most of my favorite restaurants and places to eat at in Goa, the chef owners are all nut jobs. Like they're like, none of you guys are like normal people. Like by the standard yardstick, like you said yourself, you would not be defined as normal people. Like interesting, because somebody once said, "He said cracks are great." So that's what lets light into the world. So now earlier you were very particular because you were particular about everything, and you were like. I remember once or twice like sitting there and stuff, and somebody's like, "Can I pack this?" And you're like, "The famous Buland, no." So, but now you're on online ordering, you're on Zomato, and how did that work? Like, what convinced you? Why did you want to give that a try? So, and don't lie and say I twisted your arm, because I didn't. So,
you never know.
Yeah.
But okay, I'm trying to think as well. I think first, of course, it was familiarity of the brand. As I started to understand the brand better, first step was that okay, this is something. Because in my head, it was like meeting a new person.
Right.
Doing this.
Right.
And I hate doing that personally. So in my head, it was like that. I have to get into an arrangement with another entity.
Got it.
Which was sounding like a massive task for me.
Okay.
Now I have to talk to someone, and they'll ask me for things, and I'll have to give things.
Right.
All of that. But so just for kicks, I started that process where I had to interact with someone from the team. And I think that was, once that went by, it was very easy. It was not as hard as I had imagined. Like, it was just one interaction where the person was also precise. I didn't have to like keep asking, ye kya hai, wo kya hai. So that was great. Communication was clear. So that helped me take the first step. Okay, these are the things. I already have these things, and here you go. So that interaction part was over. I think that was one of the biggest pluses. And also, I wanted to keep the team involved, and with my pizzas, even now we don't do Neapolitan pizzas in delivery because they are like soft pizzas.
Correct.
Neapolitans are soft crust.
Correct.
And handling of the box cannot be guaranteed.
Correct.
Always. So I try and get I got a box which would help a lot with that.
Yeah.
But still, it's not foolproof. And at the end of the day, we discussed this, when they have to take out the box, they have to tilt the box. And a floopy pizza will just go on one side. So,
that's interesting. So you think that a lot of this could go away even with just like a small design
I would
design modification?
really all the boxes open from the top.
Right.
And if you have a large pizza box, which is just about the size of the bag, then there's no way for that person to actually go and pick it up like this. They pick up from one edge and tilt the box so that there is some room for them to hold the box.
I mean, they could do it, but it takes a lot of extra thought and effort, and it's just easier to pull it out.
Yeah, and also there's not much space actually, because our boxes are also big, and that's about the size of the box, of the bag. So if the bag opens from the front, then you don't have to tilt the box to remove it. So you can just slide the box out and the box remains horizontal. Rather than, picking it up, tilting the box.
Yeah.
And so Neapolitans and softer pizzas like this, there's no way they can survive.
And how's that working out for you? Otherwise, like you've had like good response?
So I tested those out a few times and I realized, okay, I can't give these pizzas, even in these boxes, through deliveries. And so we do the crisper pizzas, which hold their shape better. And that has been working out great. Pizzas reach, thankfully, with the box design and the time equation. And we are also learning right now how to handle, how to let people know that some dishes will survive the travel. So we actually don't put everything on the delivery menu.
Okay, so you've selected a few items which are travel friendly.
Yeah, so I'm just very decent to this. So I'm also understanding, getting feedback from people. So far it's working great, and keeps my team busy. We get a wider audience in terms of, so now it's no longer just friends, and there's no hospitality on my part involved, which is wonderful.
That is inherent in a great lesson for anybody who's watching this, to say like, okay, some people do it because like paisa banana hai, and your thing is like convenience, and it's a good way forward.
And it's a completely different clientele, because our place is more like a word of mouth. And either you love it or you hate it. The ambience, the music, everything is very well defined. There is no scope for flexibility to accommodate different wants of people. It is one style of place. Everything, food, drinks, music, everything is one kind. And either you love it or you hate it. But when my service is detached from them being to that place, of course it opens myself and my space out to a different kind of subset.
So it's basically you're experimenting, you don't have to deal with people, there's a whole new audience that is experiencing your food from far away, and when they like it, there's a better chance that they'll...
Of course.
So it's a virtuous cycle. Yeah. Anything Zomato can do better or differently? Like with the pizza box idea is a great idea.
Opens from the front.
Okay. Anything else you think that would really help? Just something you've observed? Because
nothing as of now. I mean, it's been going well. So far, so good.
Very cool. Let's talk a little bit about like personal interest and also. I remember hearing or reading somewhere that when this James Webb telescope was first publishing his images, you were so excited that you were distributing few shots at the bar. Like, what's up with that? Like, it's a telescope. Like, they're looking at the universe. And you were trying to get people spaced out in your bar. It's like, is that it?
Yeah, I mean, it was a very exciting time for me because, this is going to be technical. But yeah, I was just really excited about the fact, and I thought of celebrating it. But astronomy has been one of my passions. It has helped me survive through difficult times. It's my crutch that I fall on, the wider perspective. And of course, math doesn't lie. It's a beautiful language. So,
I can see that. I can see that. And I think that math is an underlying thing because music, at the end of the day, and then analog music where you built your own. I think you've been very modest there. Like, people would be very interested to know that amp that you have and the speakers is all handcrafted. You've done it all yourself. So also I don't like to invest their experience in just explaining all of these things. So I also don't talk a lot about the fact that, this is all fermented or it took so much time to make this dish, because then it forces people to like it. It's like, अच्छा इसने 1.5 साल में एक vinaigrette बनाया तो अच्छा तो बोलना ही पड़ेगा. It's like,
So I don't want to fall into that trap. Or if I say that, oh, I made this system from scratch and, it took me so much time, effort, all of that. I don't want people to judge the place that way. And it's either good or it's bad. It doesn't matter because somebody, even if you like, somebody has spent some amount of time on that.
Correct.
Either way. Or if you like a car, it's not like somebody just did it like this. Somebody has spent. It's just that you don't get an opportunity to appreciate that person physically. And in this situation, I'm there in front of you, so you know that it's done by.
But you can get the bouquets or the brick bats. Like, I mean, it's
either
two sides of the coin.
Either way. And any good thing is obviously made by some person, and वो तो होता रहता है. That's not a big deal. So if you like it, yes, great. And if someone's interested, if someone asks me, oh, how did you design the circuit, etc., I'll sit and talk about it. Or if someone's interested in how this condiment was made, or how the cocktail was made, I'll sit and talk about it. But otherwise, people don't really need to know. Okay, they don't appreciate it just because उसमें मेहनत है या passion. So it's either good or bad. That's it.
Right. वो अपनी मेहनत and passion already लगा के आए हैं. Their office, they've come, they want to chill, they want to be with their friends and not. Any new plans? Like, are you like working on new stuff on the menu or anything new that's exciting you? Like in the pursuit of food.
There's always
and beverage. Yes. Not. I mean, not all the other stuff. I know you'll continue doing, but
there's always new things happening, and that's one of the best parts about my space. I don't have the pressure to like my investors and my entire team is really helpful, and I get that mental space to do what I really like to do. So things have been happening, and as you know, fermentation takes years. So every month I'm opening up a different ferment that started maybe before I even started the restaurant. So things that I'm discovering now, processes which started a long time ago. So they will obviously influence my menu. And we are a very seasonal place. Condiments keep changing in Goa. So that influences the menu. In drinks, I'm always experimenting. I have so many toys to experiment with in my office. I would not call it a lab as yet. But so there's always tinkering happening. Just recently, I'm going mad over hydrosolve, so that has been happening.
Can you explain to the world in general what hydrosols are?
So this started with a thing where...
Sankshipt me. In two sentences.
So we did a tea cocktail first. A set of tea cocktails, 5 cocktails. And I was like, अच्छा ये अब चाय को और पानी के अलावा और how else to extract flavor, because all teas are going to be brewed in water.
Correct.
And then if I'm taking 5 different teas, there should be different methods of extraction of flavor for each one of them. And while I was exploring that aspect, I thought that, okay, I'll distill some tea and see. So I first made a tea hydro. So it's basically collecting the steam of water and a particular condiment. And you just condensate the steam and you get a mixture which has some amount of oil flavors as well as water-based flavor compounds. But you get a clear liquid which has all the flavor, and then you can play with it. It's a method of extraction of flavor, that's it.
Got it.
And without it being really aggressive. It's very difficult to be aggressive to that condiment because you're just collecting the steam. You're not actually doing anything to the condiment itself. So,
got it.
So these are techniques of, एक बार मैं technique समझेगा, then I will understand how to blend flavors, then I'll probably make a dish around it or I'll just chuck it. It doesn't really matter. But ऐसा. So things are always happening.
And in Goa and in the Indian dining scene, because you follow a little bit, where do you see the industry moving to? Who do you think, what are the sort of people you think are going to be winners, or your personal opinion? Because
my personal opinion, in drinks, I love Varun from Comrade.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of whatever he's doing because he's, whenever we talk, we are always just talking about what we did recently.
He's very enthusiastic.
Very enthusiastic. How we decided to work with this ingredient, and he will have worked with that ingredient in a different way. I would have worked in a different way. And we compare notes and so I always have fun. Yeah,
the last time I had a drink there, there was an orange, he'd extracted orange, and there was a paloma, and then there was a milk crisp, which he did, with mahua jam. He's taken the sweet flour and he's made a jam and stuff. And the nice thing is, he gets so excited when he talks about it. So you're saying people who are going to play or drinks.
Yeah, and now,
food.
Now in food also, like people are the chef-driven restaurants will always be different, because the chef is the person running the restaurant and he's in charge of what comes out, and he will have a better avenue to express his ideas as opposed to restaurants which are run remotely, and it doesn't matter who's at the helm of the kitchen, but that thing keeps changing. So I actually like restaurants which are run by a chef, because you can always expect
somebody's invested in kya mera naam hai,
mera naam hai, and like and this is my idea and I'm putting this out, as opposed to distanced restaurants where the owner is somewhere else, owner will not know the chef, chef is not associated to the restaurant, that kind of a situation will not, I mean, of course they have their own clientele, but I think in the longer run, in terms of being appreciated, these kind of spaces will have a better chance.
I mean, and we always say that there's space for every type of this.
Yeah.
And my sense of wonder is what is like really driving, because I still think that the ordering in and dining out industries is still a nascent stage. I mean, if you look at our numbers compared to, let's say, China or the US or whatever, I mean, there's only one way but up.
Yeah.
My wonder is what's going to drive it more. Is it going to be like the really big brands where like somebody wants to get into food and say, my God, look at that, the guy has 200 cloud kitchens and he drives a fancy car? Yeah. Or is it going to be driven more by like people who are going to say, man, look at that chef. Like, there's somebody sitting in a corner who's like playing with stuff, who's like really reimagining stuff, who's taking Indian food to like the next level, where every conversation, no global conversation about food, I mean, that is my joy, that's what I'd like to see, will be complete without any, I mean, that's why we're so blessed.
Exactly.
I mean, like you open, like for example, like if I open the Zomato app right now, I mean, I don't think any other country in the world will have that many categories where you are like, kya khane ka mood hai? You want like dry stuff, you want gravies, you want regional food from like 30 different types of regional food, you want dry, you want wet, you want pizza, the works. I mean, I don't think there's, safe bet, I don't think there's any other country in the world when you open a food delivery app, you will get those sort of choices of, maybe their life is easier. But my sense of wonder is, I wonder what is going to inspire more and more people to come and like just have fun and take joy in feeding other people.
Yeah.
So
as you said, there's a clientele for everything. But I think the generic, because people are now doing really great things, the general level of appreciation for food is going up. And that helps, whether at the end of the day, larger picture it will help in the larger picture as well, because people will start appreciating new things. The taste buds will develop, or they will change. They'll start to be more tolerant towards other flavor profiles, because sometimes you don't even, like most of my dishes, if you read it, you don't even know what to expect, which is brilliant, because if I say I'm giving you a pasta or if I'm giving you a butter chicken, you already have like...
You have your
paradigm. You cannot
Correct.
beat that shit. Like mera grandmom makes this butter chicken, nothing else is better. So I said, so fuck that situation. I'll give you a black garlic tart. Kisi ke grandmom ne nahi banaya hoga. You come there, you try it. You have no reference point, and you either objectively like it or you hate it. And that's all that matters.
But have you ever had anybody, because just the black garlic tart.
Yes.
So you take, let's see, I'm trying to show off here. You take normal bulbs of garlic.
Yes.
And you slow cook them at 47 to 52 degrees.
Yes.
For 8 weeks.
6 to 8 weeks.
6 to 8 weeks.
Yes.
And then that same thing becomes like this really, like almost like shiny black toothpaste.
Yes.
And the tang, that garlic bitterness is gone. And then you're mixing that in with dark chocolate and caramel and making a tart.
Yes.
With like gold dust on it. Like I can taste it right now, man.
Yeah. Sounds like you've had it before.
Yes! I would like another one right now. You come all the way here, like to chat with us and all. It's called Breaking Bread. Where's the bread? Where's the common tart?
You can Zomato it, by the way. The breads.
Let's end on that. I'm going to Zomato. Can I Zomato a black garlic tart?
As well, yeah.
Fantastic.
Intercity करना पड़ेगा, but हो जाएगा.
I'm somebody who knows nothing about you or your place. And I come to you and I say, tell me about FTR, the vinyl bar in Panjim. What would you say? Like, convince me to come and have a meal. or enjoy something? Like, what would you say? Like, who are you? What are you?
I don't want to convince you.
Okay, no, fine. Don't convince me.
But yes, and so a lot of people also ask me, like, if you diversify yourself into so many things, like, how do you reconcile the fact that you are a jack of all kind of a situation? So actually, I hate that phrase, jack of all, because
it is silly. Yeah.
I think
it's putting boundaries on your creativity. Like, imagine if somebody had told Leonardo da Vinci, "Yeah, tu ek
the
kaam
jack
kar."
of all.
Yeah. so same page.
So I don't like the word jack of all, because I think I do good things in whatever field that I'm doing.
Right.
And I've seen people dedicate their entire lives to that field and still suffer to create. So my driving philosophy in all of these situations is just to be able to create something. So whether it's music that I'm playing, or whether it's a house that I'm designing, or whether it's a dish or a cocktail or anything like that.
Right.
As long as it allows me to create, it works well. And also the fact that I did architecture actually helps a lot, because at an abstract level, the term architecture literally means the king of putting things together. It's just understanding how things work well. Different aspects of things work well. In the context of the built environment, of course, it is brick mortar and how you end up creating a space out of it.
Cool.
So where a house is not just a juxtaposition of your bricks and everything, but the space itself is like a emergent property. It's something that comes about after everything is put together as an added value. It's the sum is greater. No, the result is greater than the sum of its part, or something like that.
Yeah.
So I like to do that with everything. So even if I can make a circuit which works well on paper, and I put all the instruments together, at the end of the day, the result is bigger than what I put together. Like, it's not just about the tubes or the electrons or the cones or the wood, etc., etc.
Correct.
And I like to do, I'm exploring the same aspect with food as well. So that's why the black garlic tart, it's not about the garlic, it's not about the chocolate. But when you have that bite, even if those ingredients are weird, the bite is something else altogether.
It actually sparks curiosity, isn't it? It's kind of familiar, but what
exactly.
What is
so that emergent properties of things, and so FTR is a space where if you enter, it doesn't feel discordant. It doesn't feel like either there is one guy who has gone and made the system and designed the space and designed the food and designed the cocktail. So there will be some different. It's a cohesive unit where everything talks to each other. You can see that the drinks are made the same way that the system is designed, and the system is made the same way that the space is designed, and the space is made the same way that the food is designed. So that way, FTR is an experience. You walk into a corner of my mind, basically, and you can either be aware of it, or you can completely disregard the fact that this is how everything is done and just sit and enjoy. So different people will have different agendas of coming to the place. Some people will come just to listen to the records. Some people come just for the drinks, or just for the food, or just because they like sitting there. It's not a pretentious place. It doesn't force you to behave in a particular way. Everyone can be themselves. But at the end of the day, it is like a part of me. That place is like a bit of me. So as soon as you enter, of course, a thought has been gone into designing everything around, like including the music that's playing. But it is my entire life, basically. Everything I do, I try and incorporate into that building. So all my experiments are done there.
Wow. I like that, actually. You had me at, when you walk into FTR, you actually walk into a corner, or many corners of Buland's mind.
You're just entering into my space.
Buland, thanks for coming. Thanks for letting us peep into the mind of the master without even taking off that hat, which that's my last question, actually, before we go. Do you go to bed with that hat?
I try to, but it's not very comfortable.
Well, thank you very much. Thanks.
Thanks for having me.